So this is something we haven't talked about for a long time, and yeah, today we're going to be talking about Ark 2. It feels really weird saying that because we used to talk about it all the time when we were getting hyped for the release of it, and then it completely disappeared because of the release of Ark Survival Ascended. A lot of plans seem to have changed that kind of last minute last year, but we actually have some news, the first time in a while, and it's kind of positive, but then there is a lot of negative in there too. We've got release news. We've also got some stuff about the future of the AI within the company too, which I'm not so sure on. I'm someone that believes AI could be useful in certain things, and it's helped me out with thumbnails. It's helped me out with maybe certain scripts and things like that, which I never think's wrong. I think it's useful, but when it comes to literally taking over jobs, that is where it gets worrying. Anyway, guys, make sure to smash that like button, subscribe if you're new to the channel, as it supports me so much, and let's get on with Ark 2 news. I still can't even believe I'm saying that. So pretty much what happened is Snail Games released their new financial stuff and some updates, as they always do every quarter. And someone who asked the CEO of Snail Games actually asked a question saying, what is going on? I mean, he was trying to sort of word it the right way, but pretty much what he was thinking of just saying is, where is Ark 2? And then the CEO of Snail Games replied saying, lots has been going on recently. We had the launch of Survival Ascended, we had the launch of the animated series, and Ark 2 has obviously taken a little bit of a setback due to focusing on that side of things, but he goes on to say that the game is being worked on really hard by loads of people, which again I guess is positive news, because some of us even thought the game's just scrapped and not even being worked on, but apparently it's being worked on really, really hard at the moment. And he went on to say that we are actually going to get good news about the Ark 2 release in the upcoming months. So this could mean that we might hear something in summer at a game showcase. We could hear something a little bit later on in the year. But it just feels like this is just never happening. And it's probably been one of the strangest things, because December 2020 is when Ark 2 was first announced to come to Xbox and the PC, and as an exclusive, and I was so excited about it. And I remember I was 20 or turning 21 or turning 22 or whatever. I'm now turning 25 in 5 days time, and there's been 2 trailers for Ark 2 in that space since it was announced December 2020. I just still find it wild that is sort of what's happened with it. And I definitely believe that, in my personal opinion, the Ark Survival Ascended release was a last minute change. And the reason why I will always sort of stand by that, unless I'm shown different by someone higher up, is that I think that within the space of 6 months, the plan was changed on Ark Survival Ascended. That's why the game launched with only one map at the beginning for 6 months, because it was such a close change. They were like, are we going to release Ark 2? And then they saw the power of Unreal Engine 5, and they were like, there's a good money-making element here. We know that everyone loves Survival Evolved, so let's make a better version of it. But the problem is that what ended up happening, it backfired, because they released Ark Survival Ascended, which was completely unfinished, so it wasn't really a remaster. It was 10% of a remaster. Don't get me wrong, I believe they've added fantastic things to the game, the mods, all of that kind of stuff, but that was meant to be exclusive to Ark 2. So they ended up using a lot of the stuff they sort of promised with Ark 2 and put it into Survival Ascended, which is still really cool, because the thing with Ark 2 is it's a Dark Souls-like game. So if you want the old school version of Ark, they gave that us in Ark Survival Ascended. So I'm not saying it was terrible business decision moves, but it ended up being not a great move, because if they had the game finished, right? So if they had Survival Ascended being worked on for 2 years or something like that, I don't know if that had been possible, because Unreal Engine 5 wouldn't have been out. They had it remastered over 2 years and the game was ready, then that would have been there would be no problems. It's the fact that the reason why there's less people playing is, one, it's expensive to buy when you've already got Survival Evolved. 2, there's like no content on it. And yes, the Scorched Earth release was fantastic, but if they were to release all of the maps and they had them ready, and then we were looking at new maps in the future, that would have blown up, in my personal opinion. But unfortunately, because they released an unfinished game with only one of the maps, and now we've got Scorched Earth, it's just not been enough to sort of keep the game alive. Now, as for Ark 2, as I said, as we were talking about the release news earlier, I believe it won't launch at the end of 2024, as it was stated before. I really want them to shock me, and out of nowhere, Ark 2 gets a release date for end of 2024. That would be the dream. I can't, as a content creator especially, I know a lot of people don't want it because they just want to play the Ark they know and love, and I completely get that. If releasing Ark 2 destroys Survival Ascended, then I wouldn't want it. But if they can have separate teams focusing on Ark 2 and Survival Ascended, then of course I'd love to make new content and try out Ark 2. I think it'd be great. But I personally think it will be coming in 2025, if that at the moment. You've also got big releases of like GTA 6 coming up, which, by the way, a lot of game companies will be wary and worried about. I used to work, many of you guys might not know, I used to work in PR for gaming before I went full-time with YouTube, and you always, before you do a launch, you track what's coming out, and every single game company will be so wary of 2025 just because of GTA 6. So yeah, that's what Ark 2 would have to be worried about. But let's see, if they can launch at the end of 2024 and things are more ready than we thought, then that would be perfect for them, but I just don't think it will be. As for the future of something else that was talked about in this interview kind of thing, it's like an audio interview, is about the future of the employees. Now, I would actually be fairly worried if I was working in this space, because Snail Games go on and talk about how they see their company and their games created by AI for the near future. They see that's the way the world's going. And that means that a lot of people are going to lose their job. And that, I just think, there's always, it worries me with this, right? Because, like, there's already, in the game industry, it's been some of the toughest time. It's kind of a reason why I left the gaming industry, in the sense of working there, because I want to still work there if, let's say YouTube doesn't work out in the future, but it's such a dangerous space, because so much technology changes over time, and if AI takes over, jobs are going to be way too hard to get, and it's very scary. And if I were working for any of the companies, I'd be thinking, right, the CEO has just said that it's going to be replacing jobs. So I'm worried about my job. Like I would probably be searching now if I was working there, just because I'd be so worried. And it's such a shame, because I know that loads of people love that. I don't know if this will directly affect Studio Wildcard or not, because it is their games. So yeah, be interesting to find out. I just personally think nothing can ever be a person sitting down and using their own thoughts and thinking things that AI couldn't think of, because a human brain can always think of something that a computer can't, completely out of. But anyway, I'm going to be going on to a totally different side of things. So I think it's a little bit worrying, just for the future of the Ark brand. I wouldn't want the games, unless it was just the most fantastic game ever, but I just don't think focusing solely on AI created games is a good idea. It just would take the love out of it, and from what we've known for so many years. But anyway, I'm here to sit and watch and see what happens and bring you guys the news. So Ark 2 is on the horizon, and we may be hearing something within the next couple of months. Catch you guys in my next video. Leave a like, subscribe, and I'll catch you then.